Welcome to Raj Gets Real. My name is Roger Gonzalez, a medical student, retired professional athlete, personal trainer, and health coach. There's so much misinformation online. How do we really know what to trust? Allow me to share my years of experience and education and become your trusted source for health, fitness, and medicine. We have learned that health is wealth, and it should always remain one of our top priorities. So allow me to play an important part in your journey for a better and healthier life. So let's begin this journey together. Guys, so I would like to introduce my good friend Eddy Suarez, soon to be Dr. Suarez, as we do our inaugural episode of Raj Gets Real. Eddy is a lifestyle coach and a competition prep coach. He has been competing in classical physique for the last 7 years and has done 8 shows now. He is also in his third year of medical school. And bro, this guy, he's got the looks, he's got the drive, and he's got the brains. Thanks for being here, man. How you doing today?
Thank you, brother. I'm good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. First time on a podcast. So a little bit nervous, but nonetheless, I like talking and I like expressing myself. So what better way to do it with you here?
Good thing. First thing, let's have a little drink, little cheers to the new podcast. So man, we reconnected probably a month ago.
Well, yeah.
At the gym, and I knew I had to have you here. I mean, remember from when we were in Orgo, you were just always talkative, always kind of the fun guy there, and you've always known your stuff. You've been competing for a while, you've been in the fitness world for a while. But let's start with your story. I know you're a Cuban guy. I know with everything going on in Cuba. Tell me your story. How did you get here? What happened?
So pretty much I came when I was 7. My parents, they tried to leave Cuba in the past, back in the 90s and stuff like that, but just they couldn't. Stuff happened. So my aunt and uncle pretty much they paid and stuff, and through Mexico and stuff, we pretty much left Cuba. First time was a failed attempt. They caught us or whatever. But we left obviously legally through a boat. Ocean, hiding. We went to Mexico, and then from Mexico, then we crossed the border in Monterrey, and then from there we stayed in Texas like 2 weeks, and then we came to Miami where my aunt was here, and we lived a few years there with her, like 7 years, and then bought our own home and stuff like that, and then that's it. That's pretty much it. I mean, left Cuba looking for freedom, which is what most Cubans want, and a better life, and obviously chasing the American dream.
Yeah. So you say you had 2 attempts. At what age were they when you came?
2 weeks apart.
Oh, so you guys did not wait?
Nah, did not wait. Just they took my dad to jail for I think it was 3 days and stuff like that. They let him out because back then it wasn't as I guess bad as it is now. If they caught you, they just you were in jail for a few days and they let you go again because everybody was doing it. I guess back in 2004 when we came.
So how old were you?
I was 7.
Oh, you were young.
Yeah, I was 7.
How many people came?
It was 42 people on the boat.
Oh wow! How big was this boat, bro?
32 feet. I remember.
So was it one of those special ones that people paid from here and went to pick you up?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about that. Do you know more about that? I know we're in Miami, and that's kind of used to happen a lot more.
Yeah. Right now I don't think it's as prominent. It doesn't happen as much. Yeah. But back then, it was happening a lot. It's human trafficking.
What was the do you remember what the price was per
It was 10 grand.
It was 10 grand per head.
What they charged.
How fast was that ride?
All I remember was a lot of jumping. A lot of jumping. I can tell you that it was fast, and I mean I had never been on a boat. I mean I was 7, so I had never been on a boat. So it was something pretty impressive and pretty crazy, and the whole at night, the water, the mangroves, looking for the boat coming, get in, and then riding out. So it was pretty intense.
42 of y'all were just 42, there.
Just everybody just sitting right around the circle, and the boat just
wow,
gunning all the way. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, if those people got caught, they would stay in Cuba forever, like lifetime jail. So
you had family. So how does that happen? You had family here in the States that paid up, and then they went to go get you.
Yeah,
guys?
they had the contact obviously through someone. I mean, I don't know how I went those 7, but they had the contact obviously through the people in Mexico that did that. That went to go pick up family members or whatever of whoever paid.
Gotcha.
So,
and it was you,
me, my mom, and my dad.
Okay, so
all 3 of us. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, man, it's crazy what we're willing to do to leave our country for something better, man.
Yeah, definitely, and not even us, because I mean, in a way we had it easy, but the people who make rafts, that's even crazier, because that you're going, God knows where with what with food, bad storm and you're dead. So
I have so much respect for that. I mean, because people are just willing to do anything.
No, it's crazy, man. I mean, and especially how things are right now with Cuba, with the whole oppression on people and how, I mean, 2004 compared to now, it was great back then.
Mhm.
It wasn't good, but it's a lot better than what it is now. Right
it's-
now, it's horrible. There's nothing. There's no food. There's no hygiene supplies. There's no medicine. Right now, people are dying left and right with the whole COVID. So there's really nothing. The hospitals, last time I went there, I went like 2 years ago, literally there was dog poop in the middle of the hallways.
Mhm.
The beds had blood stains on them.
Yeah.
The roof was leaking water. Like it's inhuman conditions. Inhuman conditions. Like you're literally, any open wound, you're like prone to get infection like that. So it's crazy.
And then my mom also talks all the time about how there was 2 MRIs machines in like all of the south part of Cuba area. And he's like, one of them doesn't even work. So it's like technically for half of Cuba, you have 1 MRI machine.
100%.
You have how many in a 5-mile radius here? And like people say, oh, Cuban doctors are the best doctors.
Nah.
No, the Cuban medicine, and it's just.
You may have the knowledge, but if you don't have supplies, there's only so much you can do with 2 hands.
But I would disagree. I would even say
Yeah.
that I don't think what makes Cuban doctors is the knowledge, is the fact that they've had to figure things out from so many
Right.
years of just like, I don't have this, I don't have that, I need to figure it out, or these
Inventing,
people are going to die.
Yeah.
And that is what the Cuban people, I think, are great at.
Right.
From every aspect, whether it's engineering, medicine, everything at all. I just feel like they've always been great at figuring stuff out because they've had no choice.
Yeah.
It's either that or you die.
And it's funny you say that because my mom is actually a gynecologist, an
Okay.
OBGYN from Cuba. So here she's a nurse. But she's told me stories where literally in the OR, she's been sewing up women after labor. The lights go out because you know how they just have random out of light in the whole island to save, I don't know, save light, fuel, whatever their history is and whatever their. So she's had to actually sew up a uterus with a freaking lighter.
I've heard that. Yeah. It's crazy.
She's
it's
had
so crazy.
She's had to reuse gloves, and going into a wound, glove breaks. She's had to, the needles are all reboiled and resanitized because there's no disposable, nothing. Man, it's just there's no supplies, no nothing. So it's crazy.
Yeah. We're very
Yeah.
fortunate to be here, man.
100%.
But let's get to fitness because that's kind of what this podcast is mostly about: fitness, health, and medicine. So tell me, how did you get into fitness? How did you start? And
Well, how I started fitness, if you would say, I would say basketball is also fitness as well, which is what I first had my passion with, is basketball. I did elementary school basketball, then I did middle school basketball. Problem was in high school, when I was in 9th grade, I was only 5'4".
little small
That-
Cuban guy trying to play
Yeah,
basketball.
man,
Yeah.
That was a problem. I didn't make it to high school team in Braddock, and that kind of crushed me because I was really excited, to do that. But luckily, I found I found another gateway. I mean, all along the whole route of me wanting to be in the NBA, which I saw it super attainable, but my dad was a lot more realistic, kind of crushing my dreams in a sense. But he was real about it, which it kind of threw me in this fitness industry in a way, because he would always tell me, "Oh, leave that, start working out. This is what you're gonna be good at." And then I'm like, I don't like that. Let me play ball. I want to be like Dwayne Wade. I want to be like LeBron. So yeah, I thought I was gonna be 6'4". That's what I imagined. So I'm like, I'll be 6'4". I'm gonna dunk. Yeah, touching the net was the furthest I got. So, so I got into fitness when I was about officially I would say about 15. When I first joined Porky's, it was in my sophomore.
Man, I remember Porky's.
Yeah. That was the OG gym. So in 10th grade is when I joined Porky's. Actually, I had joined when I was 13, LA Fitness, but I only joined for like 2-3 months. Again, I was still playing basketball, so it wasn't really my main priority. Didn't really have a passion for it. I did it because my dad wanted me to go with him. At 15, I actually did it because I actually wanted to change. I wanted to build some size. I was only about 120 pounds in 10th grade. 9th grade, I was like 109 because I was just playing basketball 4 or 5 hours a day, eating twice a day. So obviously, there's not much size you can build from that. But I started in 10th grade, and then I would do weight training during school, and then I would actually work out later as well when I would get out of class. And I actually did my first show when I actually 15, 16, in my senior year. Senior year was actually the first show I did, which everybody was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
Like,
especially back then, like
in
it
high
wasn't
school.
fitness wasn't like what it is
It
now,
was.
that it was like normal to go do competitions and stuff. Everybody was like,
It wasn't at all. And then in high school, you usually see, people competing and stuff. Usually, their 20s, 30s, whatever, But someone like 17 and stuff, they're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you bringing that cold ass chicken here with asparagus? And then everybody would look at me like with this disgusted face, and I'll just be like, I have to do it. I must do it. This is what I read online. This is what they eat. So I was eating. I remember I was eating some dry, hard grained brown rice. I didn't know how to cook it. I didn't know how to cook back then. I literally, I can say I'm a chef now, but back then I was horrible. I wasn't even a dish cleaner. It was bad. Like the brown rice was hard, and then and then the seasoning was just horrible. And then the worst part was it was a microwave. So lunchtime it was cold. It was cold food, and I downed it. And I had no idea about carb cycling, how much I needed, nothing. So I was just like, no carbs, veggies and chicken. So I would lose weight like that. I remember my first show, I did it, but I had just come off like a dirty bulk. Back then it's just like get as big as you can.
Eat whatever you can.
Yeah, eat whatever you can. So I was there and literally in culinary, I remember eating Easy Macs, eating cinnamon buns, just eating everything I could possibly. I was like, calories, good. I need this. And probably super mass gainers. Super mass gainers were like,
I was there. I've been there with
box of 12 pounds, $40. It was like the perfect economic.
They like 2,000 calories per soup. Yeah,
yes. I had done 2 of those shakes all day. Man, I was getting size fast, but my face looked like a potato. It was crazy. So I went like my heaviest. I was weighing at 120. So I got to like 180, which was pretty big for me. I'm not a guy who actually holds much weight or anything like that. I'm actually on the ectomorph skinnier side. So I actually got up to 180, and then right as soon as I hit 180, I was like, let's cut. And I went on like 0 carbs. So I was losing 6-7 pounds every week. So in 10 weeks, I got ready for 11 weeks. My first show. Second show was 10 weeks. And I remember I lost 40 pounds. I was still on stage at 140. 40 pounds in 11 weeks. It was like pretty drastic. I was like 6 pounds, 5 pounds, 7 pounds. And that was including a whole cheat day on Sundays. And I could still afford it because I would still be losing weight.
Bro, you had to have felt so bad during that drop.
It was horrible. It really was. It really was. And I actually felt it hormonally too. Like it felt horrible. Like no sex drive, no nothing. Like even at 17.
But from
you
the
felt it
the
when
beginning or just towards the end?
Towards the end. Towards the end when I was already getting like really weak
lean
and stuff. And people asked me in school, they were like, hey, are you sick? I was like, no, I'm competing in 2 weeks. Imagine it was crazy. It was crazy. You get really skinny, and people, and obviously without a shirt, pumped and stuff, you look decent, you look lean. But especially doing it, one, I did it naturally. Obviously, I was young, and two, just pretty much without, not as much knowledge, just doing it by yourself too.
Where did your knowledge come from then? Bodybuilding.com.
Bodybuilding.com was actually one of them, and then 2 was probably IFOM calculator. I calculated I put my weight, my calories, and I was like 20. And then I went on MyFitnessPal and I started looking up literally.
MyFitnessPal was the thing back then?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. MyFitnessPal and then Google as well. If it wasn't there, I would look it up on Google. Like calories and 6 ounces of chicken breast. I would look it up and then write down on paper. I remember I would do everything like handwritten, and I would add up all proteins, all carbs, all fats. I was like, all right, I'm at this. And then every single week I would actually adjust my own diet. I actually had more discipline then than I do now.
Why do you think that is?
That is because now I know more than I did back then. So now I second guess myself way more. Hence why now I get a coach to coach me.
Interesting.
Back then I did it myself because I was like, okay, this is what I'm eating. I can't eat anything else. Now I'm like, oh, I can add this. It's only 5 calories. Or, oh, it's not going to affect me. This dressing is 0 calories. Back then it was plain chicken, plain rice. No, nothing. No ketchup, no mustard, no Walden Farms.
That's miserable, bro.
It was horrible. It was cold, but and the willpower was like on another level because I really wanted to do it. And it was a goal of mine. You know what I mean?
What was your why there? Like, why did you want to do it so bad?
Man, I don't know. I guess it was just with the whole Jeff Side and the whole Steve Cook back then. Like those were the guys I looked up to back then that started the whole fitness industry. The whole men's physique division, stuff like that. And I was like, damn, I need to compete one day. You know what I mean? I want to get there, So I really looked up to that. So I was like, whatever it takes to get there, And I did it. And I did my first show. I remember it was only one other kid competing. It was only me. Because again, the teen division is not really a big division. Yeah. You get maybe 1, 2, 3 kids. It's not much. And back then it was actually bigger than it is now.
Really? That was gonna be my next question.
Yes. Now 100%. I feel like the fitness industry, in a way, the competing has gone down in a way. As far as I'm talking about local NPC shows here. Back then,
But here in Miami, you're saying like Miami,
Miami,
South
Fort
Florida.
Lauderdale, yeah, well, South Florida.
Okay.
I feel have gone down 100%. Back then, there was a lot more competitors per class. Stacked shows like NBC Southern States was like the biggest show here. Was bodybuilding class was huge. Now the bodybuilding class has maybe 3 guys, 4 guys. I mean, I'm maybe getting the idea that people are realizing maybe what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And just finding that maybe like classic physique is a healthier, more attainable approach because the classic physique class is what's growing.
That's what I was gonna say because I feel like a lot more people are competing.
Yes,
but maybe it's the classes. What you're talking about?
100%. Bikini is still up there. Wellness has really boomed.
It's booming,
Especially
I don't know why, but especially in the women's side.
Yes, they love it because obviously most women want to be thick down at the bottom. And then bikini actually prohibits you in a way from getting big. You have to be on the skinnier side. You have to be very skinny. Obviously lean with shape and stuff, but it doesn't allow you to put on as much muscle. Wellness gives you a lot more room for growth, especially in the downstairs department. So a lot of women love that. A lot of women love, being the whole thick and lean. So wellness is the perfect division for them. So I feel that class is really booming. That and classic physique actually I feel gives a little more even playing field with the taller guys because you have a weight cap per your height. So you cannot get bigger than a certain weight. So you're capped out versus bodybuilding. You can be, let's say, 180 at 5'7", then you have a guy who's 180 at 5'4". That guy's gonna look like a tank next to you.
Yeah.
You're gonna look on the skinnier side, but you're still in the same class because it's by weight, it's not by height. Classic, it's a both. If you're 5'7", you can only be up to 175. The guy who's maybe 5'10" can only be 196, but on stage, 175, 186 with the different, it'll look the same. So, it's a little more fair and it goes a little more by proportion, aesthetics, and it's obviously a lot more attainable and a lot more attractive to the eye when somebody else sees it. So yeah, I feel definitely like the actual bodybuilding class has definitely gone down for sure.
As you were talking, I remember that when we were at the gym the other day, you were telling me about a couple of your clients that went from like bigger people that just literally lost a crap ton of weight and just went on stage.
Okay.
How often do you see that actually happen? Do you see people that are like, I'm gonna lose weight, and then they just start losing weight and like, you know what, now I want to compete?
Actually, I get a lot of those people. I get a lot of those clients who I feel are very motivated to one day get on stage, but realistically, they don't see themselves there. They either don't have enough confidence, they've never had the discipline to really hold a diet, they've never had the knowledge or someone to guide them to get there. So I feel that through the guidance, through the journey, and obviously them seeing the progress, they get very motivated. And when they get very motivated, they see that very far goal that they had actually something attainable. And when they're like, man, I could actually step on stage. A lot of them are very realistic as far as like, I'm not going to go to the Olympia, but a lot of them are like, man, I want to get that bucket list. I want to get on stage. Even if I don't place, I just want to get on stage, live the experience, get the photos, show my friends, post on social media. Social media is huge. People with social media now, some people do the bodybuilding because they love bodybuilding. Some people do the fitness because they love it. And some people do it for the attention. 100%. Sorry to say it sucks, but there's some people, I'm getting off tangent, but whatever. We'll talk about that now. That's the topic. That's the topic I like. But yeah, but a lot of clients, as they get leaner, as they get better body, they do feel that competing is within the reach. And I'm the first one to motivate them. I'm 100% like for get that bucket list, get it out of your system. And a lot of them actually, they get hooked and they want to keep competing ever since. And, they just keep doing it with the journey. So
yeah, I know you tried to do that to me at the gym. You're like, yo, bro, let's get competing.
Yeah, man. I've been telling you, you have great genetics, especially you've been doing this for a minute. So definitely muscle maturity plays a big role. And obviously muscle maturity, but not only that, but genetics and shape, physique shape. That goes a long way. And I tell everybody, I'm like, you can be big, you can be lean, but if you don't have an aesthetic physique that you're, sorry to break it, born with,
Yeah.
You can compete, but will you make it far in competing?
You'll have fun, but you're not.
You'll have fun, but,
but
but you'll make it to the elite level. The pros, the elite guys are the guys who have the size, have the discipline, obviously, to get there, have the
100%.
work ethic, because you need all of that, but are also gifted with the genetics to make it to elite level. You know, the guys who compete locally or who have a great physique in the gym are the guys who have just regular genetics, who put in the work, who do everything right, supplement right, do the cardio, do everything, you know, and they get a great physique. But now from great physique to an elite physique, that's the difference, is genetics, 100%. You know?
No, I totally see that. You were talking two things. You talked about your pops always pushing you for fitness.
Yeah.
Was he a gym guy? What's the story
He
there?
definitely was, yeah. So he was 40 from what I remember. He was definitely a big gym guy since when we got to this country and stuff like that. He kind of laid off of it. He still maintains it very good. He's almost 60, but he looks like he's like 45. He doesn't age. Again, he's darker than me. I'm white. He's like darker. So, you know, black don't crack. But he doesn't age. But nonetheless, I mean, he's a bigger guy than me. He was always over 200 plus.
That's why you thought you were going to be 6'4".
I think so. Man.
It all makes sense now. Okay.
So yeah, he would always push me, and then his whole life he worked out. His whole life he was into since he was like 15. No, actually 12. He started at 12.
Oh wow. In Cuba.
In Cuba.
How?
In Cuba, we had a gym in my house.
No way.
Yes, we had a gym in my house in the
Do you have
backyard.
pictures of that? Like, do you think you could find? If you find them one of these days, send them to me. I would love to see that.
I have pictures of me little flexing and like speedos. I know that. And I was like 4 years old. But and I actually have a picture. It was pretty funny of my dad working out, and then me as a little baby, and then he's like with a little 2.5 dumbbell like that in my mouth like that. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean he was always into working out, so he was the one that always motivated me to like, oh, get into this. And when I was actually playing basketball in my aunt's house when we moved here to this country, or whatever, he actually built his own like little gym in the back of the house or whatever. And then he'd be like, oh, come work out with me. I do a few sets and I'll get a little pump and then I leave. But yeah, he's always been into the whole gym, and he's definitely the influence that I had to work out. For sure.
It makes so much sense now.
For sure.
Okay. So now we're going to tackle some questions from the audience. And the first question we have was, do you think that it's better to, if you want to gain muscle and you're a bigger person, to lose as much weight as possible and then try to rebuild that lean weight, or start from there? What is your experience on that?
If you are a big person who does not have muscle mass, who doesn't have a base, yes, I do feel like the best thing is to lean out at a caloric deficit, always while implementing working out, because working out will, if you haven't worked out ever, you are going to build some type of tissue because it's something new. It's a stress on your body that it's not used to. So nonetheless, the whole deficit of calories and surplus of calories, and you're not going to build muscle deficit, it's for the people who are experienced, who have been doing this for years, already have the muscle, who are not going to get any bigger if they're at deficit. For the person who is overweight, yes, implement cardio, mostly cardio if they want to lose the weight. I would say the first thing, get rid of all the excess fat, regain insulin sensitivity, which their insulin sensitivity is probably messed up from the bad eating, no meal timing, sugars, etc. So their sensitivity is probably that. When you lean out, when you lower your carbs, you regain insulin sensitivity. Your body works better, pancreas, everything. So I feel leaning out is probably the best idea. Obviously, with weight training in the mix, you're gonna burn more calories because you're gonna build muscle. Some muscle, you're gonna build muscle no matter what, as long as you implement some sort of weight training. So yes, definitely get rid of the fat. And then when you're lean at a good point, I would say less than 20% body fat. From there, this is by no means, this is nowhere near competitive or nothing like that. It's for the average person. Less than 20% body fat is a decent physique for a normal person. So when you're there, then I would say from there, work on slowly bringing up calories, bringing up food, protein intake, and slowly try to build more on the hypertrophy and the muscle building aspect versus the weight loss. I would say definitely if you're extremely overweight, weight loss will be the first thing. And then that will actually, the whole regaining insensitivity will actually definitely boost your ability to build muscle.
And then the other thing I want to talk about was, you kept talking about the discipline that came with people competing. What would you say if you can list 2 or 3 things that you see, like when people start getting into fitness, specifically when they're thinking about competing, the benefits that come along with that mentality? It's a tough question. I
The
mean,
benefits that come with competing.
competing,
In what sense?
lifestyle, mentality,
Well,
change of life, whatever you want to think of.
Well, the benefits that I would say come with competing is that it gives you elite level of discipline that I would say 99.9% of the population don't have. So if you can make it on stage, obviously on stage with good conditioning, you know, a good physique, which means that you dieted right, you didn't mess up, you didn't cheat, etc. Because again, you can step on stage however you want. With nowadays, you can step on stage however you want.
How
which
many
I
people-
see that very bad.
How many people do you actually see that actually make it to stage if they're not happy with what they want? Like, how many people do you like, oh, they're like, okay, I'm going to go compete. And then they realize how hard it is and just back out.
Oh,
Majority of
a
the people.
lot. Most
So
of
that's
them.
what I wanted to say is that I feel like
100%.
if you say you're going to compete and you get on stage, you might not be exactly what you want to be on stage, but you're pretty damn close because you won't put yourself that vulnerable up there if you're not somewhat happy. What do you think about that?
100%. I mean, again,
You've
most
done it been
peop-
longer than me, so you know.
Most people in the right mind will know.
Common sense, yeah.
Common sense will know when they're ready, or at least look competitive,
Yeah.
look decent. But again, what I was telling you that I don't see right is that, again, everything in this world revolves around money.
Mm.
And obviously, bodybuilding federations are about money as well. Sadly to say, anybody can register a show. Anybody can compete. No matter if you ate Burger King or if you ate chicken or if you ate fish. Doesn't
True.
matter. So it doesn't matter what physique. Again, I don't see that completely wrong because of the fact that there's people who maybe have weighed 400 pounds and they got to 250
That's a
pounds.
huge accomplishment.
Huge accomplishment for them. They just want to get on stage. They want to get the experience.
I see what you're
And
saying.
I get that. But again, there's on the other hand, which I don't see that wrong. That's completely acceptable and that is bucket list and that's fine. But again, I see people who get on stage who who you see and you know that have, or you talk to them and you know that they don't have any, mental disability. They didn't diet, or I don't know what coach told them they were ready. But it doesn't even look like they dieted or nothing. They just stepped on stage however, you know what I mean? And I see that kind of like a disrespect to the
sport.
guy who busted his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Because what if in that class, it's only that guy?
Yeah.
You dieted yourself for 3-4 months to beat someone who didn't even try. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I just
No, I
that's
totally
the way I
see
see it
that.
as like, damn, you busted your ass thinking there was gonna be competition, So you get there and you're like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Which I mean, some people are
Yeah,
happy.
yeah.
Some people love just trophy hoarding. Which
A lot of
again,
people.
a lot of people just love doing back to back shows just to fill their house with trophies, and that's fine by them. There's more money to the association, more trophies for them. That's everyone's problem. I don't care about that. But but I see it for the guy who's actually trying to move up the ranks, make it to the pro level, and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, let's say Chris Bumstead decided to do a show, and then none of the guys in the lineup decided to diet. And they were on off season, and Chris Bumstead was dieted down and dialed in.
You'll be pissed.
Yeah,
You'll
it'd be
so
like,
pissed.
what is this? Like, is this even a show? It's kind of like that point. There's some people who are nowhere near stage ready, who step on stage. I don't know, because their coach tells them, or because they get the motive. I don't know, but there is some coaches that will just tell them, "Oh, you're ready," and I'm like, that person doesn't look ready.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that to them. You shouldn't lie to someone in that way. You know what I mean?
100%.
Tell them, hey, look, we can be ready in 4 weeks, in 6 weeks. Let's just keep dieting. We'll get there. But just don't tell someone just to make the money or whatever the reason is. I just feel that it's just doing the client wrong in a way.
Is there, as you get higher in competing, is there levels that prevent that from happening? I'm guessing
Definitely.
if you make it to Olympia, if you make it to,
No,
to
100%. Once you turn pro, that's not gonna happen.
that's okay.
That's not gonna happen, because to turn pro, which means you need to win a local show, then you need to go to a national show, which is very hard, and place first or second in your class. And no one in national show is gonna go there.
Comiendo
half-ass.
mierda.
No,
Yeah.
no. Everyone's there, balls to walls, doing what they gotta do. You know what I mean? So yeah, once you get to that level, yeah. But I'm just
No,
talking
no,
about the local shows that anyone can sign up to and compete. Some things are just ridiculous, and some things acceptable. But you see a little bit of everything. You see everything.
Life.
It is what it is.
So elite determination. Anything else as a huge benefit that comes along with maybe competing?
Consistency. It's probably the most important thing in competing, in bodybuilding, and anything. Again, it's when you stop, when you don't do what you're supposed to, when you're not giving your all, it's taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. The whole point is to keep moving forward every single time. Every single time. You take a break from the gym. That's time.
Starting over.
It's not starting over, but it's time that you lose to get back to where you were. And that's time lost. Versus the other person who might be competing against you might be progressing while you're just trying to get back to where you were. You know what I mean? So that's the thing with bodybuilding, is that if you fall off, sometimes it's hard to catch up back again. That's why a lot of bodybuilders get depressed after injuries and stuff like that, because 6 months out is a lot. And for a guy in the Olympia, we're talking about 40, 50 pounds they're gonna lose probably in 6 months. 40, 50 pounds gonna take them a minute to get back, and not just get back, because you can gain weight, intracellular water, you can actually recover all the muscle and the quality. It's hard. It takes time, and that they maybe lost doing the shows that year. They maybe lost
money
from shows, sponsor. Exactly. So yeah, at that level, definitely, I would say consistency is the main thing.
Consistency is so huge for fitness. But I wanted to you talked about something that to me was so important.
Okay.
Which is taking breaks from fitness. And one
100%.
thing that I noticed, and I'll speak in my behalf, for me a lot of the time was my whole baseball career I had injuries left and right.
Right.
And I think that's where my love for fitness stemmed from, and my wanting to know more was to eliminate those injuries from happening, because every single time I got hurt, I would be at the best shape of my life, ready to just take over the field.
Right.
Get hurt, lose it all. Because it would take me 5-6 months between rehab, between physical therapy, everything to get back. And then I would get back to the same point, lose it all. Right. So I feel like that's so important for, maybe not everybody has the opportunity, can afford it, can do it, but to actually get coaches that know what they're talking about. Right. And have not only studied it, but have the experience to know, hey, if you over push it, yeah, you might get 5% bigger, but there's an 80% chance you're going to get hurt.
Right.
Is that worth it?
Right. No.
And breaks are good. We obviously need the off season, but those are not the good breaks to have. And it's as you were talking to me, that just kind of just kept coming to my head. It was just how knowledge is so important for that, to know how to really create programs that are guiding you the right way, programs that are going to progressively overload you without being too extreme, that are going to hurt you. Same thing as not causing imbalances, because we can do chest, have tremendo tits, look great. Right. We're going to cause some problems in our shoulders. We're going to start shifting our body.
Yeah.
And how long do you think it took you to start learning about all this stuff?
I've actually, the whole, as far as the actual weights and the actual training and recovery and stuff like that, I feel like I've actually never gotten hurt.
Wow.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, for real.
I've never gotten hurt. One, because I've never been an ego lifter.
Ooh.
Which I see a lot of in the gym.
So big, bro.
I could care less if the guy next to me is doing 315, 405. My goal is when I take off my shirt or when I step on stage, I can beat him.
You're more long term.
I'm more long term, and I'm more of a bodybuilding hypertrophy mindset rather than a powerlifting mindset. If you have a powerlifting mindset, you can't really think like me. Because you do have to push the PRs. You have to push, and pushing equals chance of getting hurt. 100%. I push, but I push as far as hypertrophy, burnout sets, drop sets.
It's hard to get hurt that way. Yeah.
It's harder. It's a lot harder. I mean, you can always tear something.
Of course.
It is with anything. But it's a little harder than when you're pretty much pushing your max weight. And I've never been a guy who, genetically, I've never been strong. I've never been just the kid who got on the bench press and started doing 225. I've never been that guy.
That was my scenarios.
There's some kids who just genetically, bone structure, and just genetic, I guess.
Yeah.
I really don't know. It's just bone structure, and I'm guessing genetic, that just have a lot stronger, they have more strength since they're just kids, teens. They just develop and boom, and they can just pack on a lot more weight everywhere. So I've never been that guy. I've actually had to over time, little by little, I've gained strength, but it's been slow. So that has actually in a way benefited me from getting hurt. Again, you can argue the point that if I would have gone heavier, I could be bigger. Probably too. But again, you go too heavy, you get hurt, you don't get as big because you backtrack 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. So definitely that is a good point that you're mentioning as far as knowing what your limits are and knowing that not necessarily more weight equals you're gonna get bigger. More weight might equal get stronger. I don't disagree with that with any powerlifter, and I don't argue with that because they know about powerlifting. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the guy to talk to about that because I've never been into powerlifting, and I did a powerlifting workout. One of my friends sent me for like 3 days, and I didn't even get sore. And I was like, "What am I doing?" And I was doing 2 reps. I was doing 3 reps. I was like, "Rest for how long?"
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do now? You know, I just don't like the training, and I just don't feel like I get that burn, that soreness. It's kind of like what I like from a training. I like to feel sore. I didn't feel sore from the powerlifting trainings that at least that I did. Maybe I do someone else that I do. And I also feel like in powerlifting, they'll do like legs like every other day, or like deadlifts like every day. Some, you know, they do some crazy stuff that I'm like, damn, like, where's the recovery time too, as well? Which with less recovery time equals more chances of getting hurt, especially when you're pushing the PRs every time you're there.
Absolutely.
You know, so you gotta know, especially. But there are powerlifting coaches who know, you know, they'll tell you, hey, do 6 reps at 80% or do, you know, and they'll put the weight. There's guys who know what they're talking about. There's guys who do it right. And then there's that average gym ego lifter who will just start slamming on weight and will get hurt and will give powerlifting the bad rep. 100%.
And I wouldn't even say it's only powerlifting. I think it just applies to, because for every goal we want, it is slightly different. If you're training for basketball, your lifting is going to be completely different than if you're training for track and field,
right,
or baseball, or bodybuilding, or powerlifting.
Right.
And I feel like that's such a big misconception that a lot of people have. It's like, oh, just go to the gym and work out. Right. No, what's your goal? Are you doing it for baseball? Are you doing it for basketball? Are you 100%. Doing it to lose weight? Are you, you know?
100%. And that, I mean, and that's why a lot of people hire a coach. And then that's why a lot of people as well who don't hire a coach or who don't have the full knowledge will just look the same always.
Their whole life.
The year round, or as you may see it, you know, because they really don't, they're not, one thing is working hard and one thing is working smart.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do both. You can't just work hard. You know what I mean? There's really no point if you're trying to knock down that wall with a pen.
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Go to Harbor Freight and get a chibi hammer.
Exactly, a chibi hammer. Exactly. Like, there's things that you can do smart. There's things that you just do. Say, I'm working hard, but are you getting anywhere?
Yeah. So
you got to know where your goal is and how to get there.
No, absolutely.
100%.
We're going to tackle the second question that we got from the audience, which I thought was a really, really good one, really interesting one. And we talked a little bit about before. What is your opinion on all this zero everything, 0 calories, 0 calorie dressing, drinks, and all that kind of stuff? Have you got any research, read anything about it? What do you got?
Yes, we were previously talking about it before the podcast. And if you guys look into big time influencers, but not only that, big time scientists, I would say you should follow like Lane Norton. Definitely, the guy puts the facts on the table, puts the research behind it. No BS. He has a PhD in biology. The guy is like one of the guys that I look up to the most as far as actual facts, not bro science. Again, there's bro science that is needed to compete because there's no studies done on a 250-pound bodybuilder. There isn't.
There's not many of those out there.
There isn't. You know, and there's not a lot of funding for bodybuilding studies because not many people care about it. Mm-hmm. So the matter of the fact is a lot of bodybuilding, water manipulation, and the whole bro science that goes into competing is what it is. It's bro science. It's not really, hey, look, we should do this because this study showed. There isn't. But on the artificial sweeteners, definitely we're talking, and there is studies on that. All of the artificial sweeteners, saccharin, aspartame, sucralose, all of those, and the whole cancer myth is definitely a myth. We were talking, and it was definitely done in vitro, which does not represent a live person. And the doses on lab rats were 1,000 times what a normal person would consume. So it's not ideal. It's not realistic scenarios. So definitely I am 100% for artificial sweeteners. One, the whole myth of if you try artificial sweeteners, it's going to trick your body into releasing insulin. because it thinks it's sugar. That's a lie. That's a lie because if not, diabetic people would use sugar and not Splenda. So that's a lie. And secondly, the whole cancer myth. We said that was definitely out of the books based on those studies, and you guys can actually look up that study. And also, as far as weight loss goes, they actually, I feel, help a lot with cravings. They give you a satiety. They give you satisfaction with the sweet tooth. Whenever you have a sweet tooth and you drink a 0-calorie soda and you drink or a dressing on your salad, you're saving yourself so many calories daily, weekly, per year that you wouldn't imagine. I could almost bet on everything. If you were to take out on an obese person, average American who drinks a lot of soda, if you were to take out their regular soda and put in diet, 100% they will lose 20%, 50%.
Well, tell me about that study that you read the other day where it talked about water.
Another study was in a year that they did on individuals. They followed them on a full year, and they found out that the people who were drinking solely diet drinks, well, not solely, but mostly daily diet drinks, but the people who were drinking just water, the people who were drinking diet drinks, any 0-calorie, any 0-calorie soda counts them, was they actually lost more weight than the people who just drank water. What I feel is because of the fact that you feel fuller, you tend to eat less.
Yeah. You're craving that, you're fixing that craving for the sweetness. So you're not maybe gonna eat that dulce de leche or arroz con leche or whatever, Yeah. But again, we're not saying go replace your water with diet soda, but we're saying they could be beneficial, in
for weight loss. They could definitely be beneficial in moderation. And again, that even on prep, I have my clients, I let them drink diet soda. So people are like, oh, you can't drink that. I'm like, why not? 0 calories, even if it's 3 calories, because something that I want to tell everybody. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, is 0 calories isn't 0 calories. It's less than 5. So if it's less than 5, it can technically be labeled on a label as 0. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it can be 3, it can be 2, it can be 4. But how many diet sodas are you gonna drink a day? 4? 5 times 4, 3 times 4. What was that? 12, 15 calories? What is that? That's nothing. That's nothing. So you will literally burn that walking from here to door.
Yeah.
So, and that will definitely fill you up. If you eat a piece of chicken with veggies, you'll probably be still hungry after. If you eat that with a Coke Zero or your favorite Diet Sunkist or Diet Sprite, you're going to be a lot fuller from the gas, from the sweet, and you're going to feel a lot better. And you're more likely to not binge on sweets or eat extra food.
Yeah, that's very true.
Than if you stayed hungry. The whole point of dieting, lifestyle dieting, not competition prep dieting, it's a whole
Those are two different worlds.
Yes. And even the diet soda, the 0-calorie dressings, all of that, I myself take it out for my competitors 2 weeks out. Not because of anything, but just because to eliminate any little trace calories and to eliminate any possible digestion problem or any inflammation that may happen. You want to be as lean as you can with the least amount of subcutaneous water. So any little variable counts. So hence why I just take out artificial sweeteners from the mix. Artificial sweeteners, too much of them can also cause some people to get gassy. So I don't want that, nobody being bloated on stage. So I take it out. But for the average person dieting daily, it's amazing. People who are not going to compete, yes, drink diet soda or Walden Farms dressings are amazing.
Yes, amazing.
I like them. They're
a little expensive, but
yeah,
worth it.
They are, but it's better than getting like a ranch bottle with 200 calories per 2 tablespoons. You know? It's crazy.
And nobody uses 2 tablespoons
at all. It's half the bottle, and no one measures. No. And then they're like, oh, it's just a dab. It's not a dab. It's 400 calories you put on that salad, and therefore that salad is no longer healthy. You might as well just eat rice and any protein source. So yeah, it's just they're definitely a go-to. Walden Farms, I like to do G Hughes barbecue sauce, sugar-free ketchup. I like mustard. I like all 0-calorie sodas. I like What else? Oh, I love the 0 calorie bangs. They're amazing. Give it energy. 300 mg caffeine. I like Reigns as well. 300 mg caffeine. Diet Monsters taste awesome. 140 mg caffeine. A little less, but they all taste great. Give you some focus. Caffeine is one of the, I would say, one of the best stims as far as it helps take away appetite, gives you good energy, burn more calories. So all those are 0 calories, and you can have 1 or 2 a day, and you'll feel good. You'll be able to have less cravings and diet a lot easier. So
Cool.
I don't see why not. 100%.
Let's take a little jump. Let's talk a little bit about pharmacy. Like, why? Tell me your story about that. I know you're in your third year of pharmacy school right now. Since when? How did that happen? Did you always want to do that? What's the story?
Pharmacy, I did not actually. What I wanted to do, I remember when I was little, I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. I wanted to be a plastic surgeon is what I would tell my parents, stuff like that. But when I saw it was like 15 years of studying, I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
I don't even my 30s when I'm done with this. So one of my friends actually in sophomore year, I remember he's like, oh, why don't you be a pharmacist? That's what I'm gonna do, which he didn't even do. He's IT.
Sophomore year of?
He's IT, high school.
High school.
Yeah, he's IT. He was like, oh, dude, he convinced me, and then he just did something. Yeah, he did something else. So then I'm just here, whatever. So he tells me, he's like, oh, do pharmacy. Look, it's a good money, and this is what you do. You give people pills and stuff. And I'm like, huh? I didn't even know what a pharmacist did back then. I had no clue. And I didn't even know it was a doctor, like doctor degree. So I was like, oh, okay, pretty cool. So I looked into it, and I was like, okay, I might like this. And then coincidentally enough, I got my first job at 16 at a supplement store. Okay. So when I started working at the supplement store, I started learning about herbal supplements, proteins, amino acids, all the stuff, fat burners, etc. Stimulants, everything. So I found that knowing about supplements was really interesting. Really interesting. I like that. And then after I got into the supplements, telling people what to take, for what to take it, when to take it, I really liked the whole, pretty much having knowledge of products, medicine, supplements that could enhance or better a person's health. So that really got me into the whole wanting to be a pharmacist in a way. After that, I actually started with the whole bodybuilding and competing, and you start learning about anabolics, about steroids, and that even pushed me to like it even more. You know what I mean? Because it was something interesting. It's something that you're into, it's a world that you're into, what people are taking, what you're taking. So it's something that you're like, wow, it's really cool, And then obviously that derives into every other med possible. But that's kind of like the field that you get into. You're like, wow, it's interesting. So you're like, wow, I might want to do this, for the rest of my life. Something that you enjoy, So
no, absolutely. I mean, it's all coming full circle. How you were starting to get into fitness.
Right.
From fitness, you started getting into supplements. From supplements, you started learning more about the molecular aspect and how it all works. And realistically, pharmacy is probably the closest thing to that world. It is. Because the other one would be like sports medicine, but that would be more injury based.
Right.
And you never really got hurt. So you never saw that.
Right.
Which is actually pretty interesting for me to kind of make that trend. Because that for me, it was totally different besides family and all that.
Right.
But I always dealt with injuries. So I was always seeing doctors, seeing that. And I was just like, damn, that's pretty cool. I know how it felt to get hurt.
Right. I want to be that guy.
Yeah. So we're talking about the you being a pharmacist, and you told me a little bit about your career. What's the goal? I know you're in fitness and go. What's your dream?
The ultimate goal is financial freedom. That's always my main goal. To get to that goal, obviously, I want to change people's lives along the way and help people. I really enjoy seeing, not even from the pharmacist perspective, but from the actual coaching, I enjoy seeing people happy with their physique, with their new bodies, people competing, placing well. I enjoy that. I feel in a way that I haven't maybe competed in like 2 years, because maybe I'm living the whole competition through my clients. You know what I mean? I live the prep. I get there, I help them out, help them pop up. So it's kind of like I feel like I don't get that urge to like be on stage anymore, because I'm kind of like on stage once a month at least, you know what I mean?
It's like a proud dad.
Yeah, exactly, in a way. So it's kind of like it gets me, motivated, I guess, to prep every client and stuff like that. So from that aspect, I really enjoy that. That's the goal: financial freedom, help people along the way. And then as far as pharmacy, when I graduate, I want to obviously get some experience. As far as in the retail setting, I want to get some experience because of the fact that I want to own my own retail pharmacy.
Okay.
I want to put my own pharmacy, my own practice with that. So I want to do that. And then if along the way, obviously some jobs come as far as pharmaceutical sales and marketing, I would actually like that because I enjoy talking, I enjoy convincing people, and I enjoy making relations. So that's also another avenue that I would be willing to take if I get out of school.
Is there a way that you can intertwine the fitness and the pharmacy, whether it's supplements or that you might know a little bit more on that field, make it one whole thing later on? Is that something you might be interested in?
I really would. It all depends on time
Yeah.
and if I can do it. If I open up my own pharmacy, I have to. Well, unless I hire a pharmacist,
And then you're just a business guy.
then I'm just a business guy. But if I actually work it, I have to be there. As long as the pharmacy is open, I have to be there. Pharmacy can't be open without a pharmacist.
Valid.
So I really want to be able to do something else. So it all depends where life takes me and stuff like that. But ideally speaking, yes, I could hire someone. And the thought of opening a gym, I've had it and I've been wanting to do it. Because of school, I haven't been doing it because you need to dedicate time to it.
Yeah.
But I have definitely had the opportunity and the thought of putting my own, of setting up my own gym, 100%. And that's something I would like to do. Besides that, an HRT clinic is something that I'm very interested in due to my liking for the hormones, interactions, and all of that. Bodybuilding and pharmacy. I feel HRT clinics, hormone replacement for the people who don't know, whatever. Hormone replacement clinics. Obviously, for that, I have to hire doctors and stuff. But IV therapy, hormone replacement or anything of the sort, anti-aging.
Yeah, it's a big field right now.
It's a big field. It's
loading.
booming. It's
booming everywhere. I have like 4 or 5 friends that are opening practices. So with the gym, you said you might tell me with your experience. Have you only been in Miami? Have you ever left Miami? No, bro. Okay, this is great. This is
well,
great
I have for like a road trip to South Carolina.
But never been like to the gym outside of Miami.
To other gyms in other states? Yeah, I gotta go to the gym when I go out. Like when I go.
Have you noticed the difference of even Fort Lauderdale versus Miami?
100%,
bro.
100%. The bodies are not the same.
The bodies, the way people are in the gym, the cleaning up the gym.
Oh yeah, the re-racking, 100%.
That is so bad. The point that I wanted to bring that up. 3 main rules if you had your gym that you would have. That it's like.
That's a good one. That's a good one. 3 main rules. Well, definitely you could grunt. That's not, I'm not Planet Fitness.
You're a grunter.
I went to Planet Fitness and
did you really get told something?
What? Every week?
No way.
What? Every week. It was horrible. I would slam the weights and I don't know why they had something against me. The lunk alarm would sound every time.
Bro, I've heard about it,
no,
but I've never
horrible.
actually like met somebody who it actually happened to.
If you want, we can go one day. It's horrible. I don't recommend it. It's horrible. But yeah, definitely, you could definitely grunt. You can slam your weights. I don't mind. You gotta re-rack your weights for sure. You gotta re-rack your weights. And I don't know, just be hygienic, I guess, in a way. As far as go to the bathroom, make a mess, clean it, or don't throw paper towels on the floor. Just basic manners. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
no. For me, man, the racking.
Racking,
I've always said the same thing. I want to open up my own gym one day, and I'm like legit gonna put a 3-strike rule. If you don't re-rack your weights by 3 times, your membership's gone. Like, I cannot stand it. I understand if you're going super heavy and you just need a break from something. But every single time, or if you're having a bad day, maybe or something happens. But bro.
No, I know.
And you know what's really frustrating me is when it's the huge big guys who have been training for a while, who are frustrated, have had the frustration of trying to get a burnout set, trying to go find the weight and it's not there. And it just messes up their workout and still don't care. Bro, to me, that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Every mainstream gym in Miami.
But if you go to Fort Lauderdale, or you just go right out of Miami, different world.
It is.
Even at 6, 7 o'clock.
It is.
Different world.
Has to be something with culture and I guess manners and gym etiquette. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
I don't know. I just realized that I asked you about the 3 big things or the 2 or 3 big things for benefits from competing. What about cons? What about things that side effects? Not necessarily side effects as in like the medical side effects, but bad things that you've seen. I'm trying to find the word, but I can't think of it.
Bad things from competing. There's many. One, financially, very taxing on a person. Competing requires supplementation, coaching if you're going to pay someone, requires suit posing if you're going to like your actual suit. It requires posing classes if you're going to take that. It requires The food expensive, requires the actual tanning fee, registration fee, NPC card. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Anabolics, if you're gonna use that, that's a big money pit as well. It's a lot of things. You know, you really gotta want to compete, and you really gotta be financially there to be able to do it. Not everybody can compete.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that I've had, you know, a lot of clients want to start. I'm very excited for them to start and stuff like that. And I'm always very open with them, and I put them out all of the stuff that they're gonna spend on before they even start a prep, because I've had many clients in the past quit mid prep or 3 or 4 weeks out because they're tight on cash, they can't do it, the rent is due, and they gotta pay tiny NPC card, registration. So they got $800 here. It's a lot of money. The hotel, they stay in the night before. It's a lot of things that you have to take in.
It adds up.
It adds up a lot. A prep, and that's a guy. A women, a bikini is anywhere from $500 to $1,000.
I've heard about that. It blows my
It's
mind.
crazy.
It blows
And
my
it
mind.
has to be handmade, and it takes time. It's another level for women.
It's like
even
an
more.
art.
The makeup,
Yeah.
earrings, it's crazy. It's for females even more money. So it's, you know, you really gotta want it. That for sure. That's one of the things. Monetary. Secondly, mentally. Competing will maybe short term, maybe long term, mess up your relationship with food forever. 100%. You will not look at food the same, especially if you are a competitor who likes to compete a lot, do many shows a year. You will never have the same food relationship. You will look at food as something more than just an energy source. You will have a love for food, a weird type of love.
I could see that.
It's horrible. It's horrible because, yeah, you don't enjoy other activities that are not eating. It's bad. You get to the point where you sometimes even throw up on cheat meals. That's not healthy.
Yeah.
You get to the point where you rebound 30 pounds in 5 days. That's not healthy.
I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, I've done that many times, probably every time. I'm one of those guys. So, and I tell everyone not to do it, but again, I can't judge a person if I've done it every single time. It's hard. It's very hard to control yourself, to control your mind when you've been in a starving mode for 3 to 4 months. Imagine putting yourself on an island eating 2 coconuts a day.
Yeah.
On an island, you're not moving. You might not be moving. Here, you got to do an hour of cardio, 2 hours of workout. So the deficit of calories
It's
will
crazy.
probably be able to same as being an island stranded eating 2 coconuts. So it's bad. And imagine getting out of there and be like, hey, you gotta chill. Now you can have 3 coconuts. Hey, chill. Next week you can have 4 coconuts. Hold on. Just go and have 1 cheat meal this week. Do not. It's hard. A lot of people just binge and can't stop. Mentally, your brain will not have the satiety effect with your stomach. It's like there's no signal.
Yeah, no, it's
Your
just
stomach will just fill, and your brain is like, keep eating, and your stomach is about to pop to the point where you're like, oh, that's too much, and you start throwing up. It's happened. And that's what I'm saying. Competing will create a really bad relationship, especially for men, bad, for women, even worse. Women get it even worse. 1, because hormonally, it's a little worse than men. And then 2, I feel like their love for food and sweets goes out of the ballpark when they compete. And it's something that, I don't know, I just feel like it messes you up forever, especially if you keep competing. I mean, if you obviously have a long break, that's another reason why I take breaks.
Yeah.
As far as dieting breaks as well. This is not recommended if you want to excel and keep progressing.
if you're doing it for a career.
Yeah, for a career, definitely this is not
Like
this is
everything
not something you
else.
should do. You should always be on top, meals on point, everything on point, and always working towards your next goal, whether it's growing, cutting, whatever. But I do it because, again, bodybuilding is not my main career right now. I have other things going on. I have pharmacy school.
Mhm.
I have other plans. You know, it's one big part of my life, but it's not everything. So I do take dieting breaks, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, where don't get me wrong, I'm not going to eat Burger King every day. I don't
Claro.
do that because I have knowledge of normal nutrition, but I might not eat the 6 meals a day, and I might not weigh my food. And if I want to eat a dessert today, I will. And if I want to eat another one tomorrow, I will. I will not have a stop or a restriction to me, because that is everything you do have on prep.
I'm proud.
So when you go prep after prep after prep after prep, you burn yourself out mentally. And I've seen it almost everyone. They might be fine for 3-4 years. By the 5th year, they quit and they quit bodybuilding, and that's it. You'll never see them ever again. So it gets to the point where they burn it out so much, where once they stop, you never come back. And at least for me, I've always come back. I've been able to get off.
That makes sense.
Not get burnt. I come back. Next year I come in and I look better and stuff like that. And it's a balance. Life is a balance, and I feel like if you burn yourself, you won't come back.
You can create a bad relationship with it, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to work out anymore. I was just gonna.
And another point too, you go from when you start competing, you no longer go from having fun in the gym to being a task, to being a job, to being something that you have to do. Not the same thing going to the gym because you want to versus you have to. Not the same doing 30 minutes of cardio because you want to be healthy and have good cardiovascular health than doing an hour and a half because your coach told you to do it and because you have to after doing 2 hours of working out, after being on low carbs, after working an 8-hour shift or 12-hour shift, whatever your job is. So it's definitely taxing. And mentally, it will mess you up, and you might not even love the gym anymore as much when you're done competing.
So I remember when we were talking in the gym, you brought up 2 big things that like really stood out to me, and I think we both really agreed with them. One was the body dysmorphia that comes with just like working out, and especially when you get to competing. And then the second one was what you just said, the task, how it just becomes a job. And I told you that those were like my 2 biggest fears of why I'm like scared to compete. It's because I genuinely love the gym. I love going. I feel like that's where my brain is like the most relaxed. That's where it creates the most things. That's where my business ideas, my creation, whatever it is, that's when they come. And I go to the gym now and I don't even make plans. I just go and I just do whatever I want. I leave and I have this beautiful pump and I'm so happy. And if you were to compete, I remember you were telling me, you're like, the moment you get on stage, that's the best you'll ever look. You're never going to look that again. And you're always going to be chasing that. 100%. And you're just always going to feel bad about that. And that's something I remember that stood out to me. And I'm like, damn, bro, that was like so spot on. I was just like, but with your experience, is there anything that you can say for that to limit that a little bit?
To limit,
or just being aware of it?
You have, exactly. There you go. The point is being aware of it and telling yourself that it's normal to regress on how you look. Yeah. Because you're not going to be 4% body fat all year. 1, health-wise, it's not healthy. 2, very hard to keep. And then 3, mentally, it's draining.
Yeah.
And physically, you feel horrible. So definitely you have to put in your brain that day is the best you're gonna look until you compete again. But in the process, the whole goal is obviously to gain muscle, so when that day comes, you look better than the day before. But in that process, you can't be chasing that look.
Yeah. Because
that look, you're not gonna have it till you get here. And then in that process, if you chase this look, it means you're gonna be dieting at a caloric deficit, which means this look will never be better than this one. So you cannot be dieted year round, 4% body fat. No way. Because 1, it's not healthy, and 2, you're not gonna make absolutely any progress. You're not gonna be on 6 ounces of fish daily for the rest of your life and expect to get huge. You're not.
You're not.
It's just basic common sense and basic biology and basic science. You need some calories to grow. Not saying you need to get Superman's gainer fat like I did.
I was there. I did it
Don't
too.
do that one. That's not healthy either. Eating easy, mac and cinnamon buns. But obviously, getting extra body fat on you is not gonna kill you. Yeah. It's not gonna maybe have you looking beach ready year round, and that's fine as long as you're progressively overloading, building some strength, building some muscle, getting better. It's fine, and it's fine to have the balance of going out one day, eating here, eating there. It's not to burn yourself out, because when you really gotta press the pedal all the way to the floor, you don't want to be burnt out till that. No. Yeah. You don't want to be driving a car at 6,000 RPMs all day.
It's gonna blow.
It's gonna blow. That's what I'm saying. So you gotta know how far you can push it and when you gotta really push your balls to the walls. And the problem is that a lot of people are pushing year round pretty hard, and when they gotta step on stage, they don't really make much change because they were already burnt out.
Yeah.
Versus someone who's doing good, progressing, and then when it comes time to it, they make that drastic, okay, turn on switch. You know what I mean? And I feel like those people are the ones who look best on stage. And then there's always the guys who just like to look good year round, but don't have that mindset of competing. Which again, that's another thing I was gonna tell you. There's two types of mindsets. There's the guy who works out to compete, to look good for one day, and then there's the guy who competes to just overall have a good body year round. There's
Okay, I hadn't thought about that. I just thought everybody just competed just to compete. It wasn't like. It's very interesting.
the guys who usually want to have that good body year round, that lean look and stuff like that.
That's just their way of doing
Mostly nowadays, I feel are those guys who are very Instagram
focused.
very social media.
It's a very great transition. Let's talk about social media. I know that's something that you're pretty passionate about.
Right.
And first of all, you have a pretty good following. How has that? When has that started to go? How has that journey been for you?
Okay.
Anything you want to talk about that?
Before my I feel like before my following when I first started, following used to be based more on my content and my pictures and my journey, etc. Now I feel like my content, which is something that I want to do with my platform as well, is more coaching based. Is based more on my clients, on my befores and afters. Obviously I'll post like a picture, of me or going out or etc. doing some activity or at the gym, etc. But I feel like I've made it more into the actual business platform, which is what I want at the end of the day, because I want to help more people and I wanted to expand. Before I only coached people because of word of mouth. I didn't advertise myself at all. So it was just like, oh, hey, look, hit up Eddy. He'll coach you. He's competed before. He knows what he's doing. So I would get people. Now I actually post my phone and people are like, oh, damn, okay. Like,
More testimonial basis.
Exactly. So now, like, he knows what he's doing, and they can see, the befores and afters of at least the successful clients that I have, the ones that stick to it. Those are the ones that I'll usually post after they're done with their transformation or after I see like a good change. Usually it happens at like 8 weeks or 12 or 16. That's usually when they make the big change. So I'll post, the befores and after, and I feel that my platform has grown as far as actual followers and engagement. Before it was more like, you just get that random like and stuff like that. Now it's been actually people, hit you up like, hey, look, I saw you post this. Now I get a little more engagement, I feel, based with actual.
You're more real now. You're actually changing people's lives. You're giving content. You're actually impacting versus look how hot I look. Or look what I just competed and I just won. I mean, I feel like that kind of applies for, Bumstead and like those big guys. Those guys can do that because they're superstars, All right, guys. And the third last question that we had for him was, when you were competing, were you a salty tooth or a sweet guy?
When I'm competing, I'm a sweet guy. When I am not competing, I'm a salty guy.
All right, so you're going to give me answers for both. Give me two great things that you used to use, or two hacks for you when you were in your salty tooth and your sweet tooth that were your like go-to meals or go-to like, I'm craving it. What do I got to have?
Okay, for when I'm competing?
Just both. You said salty and sweet.
Well,
so
okay,
let's go with salty.
Okay, when I'm competing, salty I would say is weird, but I have to have mustard on every meal.
Is mustard even salty?
I don't know. It's like soury, vinegary. I don't know.
Okay.
It's weird. I would put mustard on my fish, on my chicken. It's weird, and I don't like mustard. But prep, I eat mustard every single meal. It's weird. That's what I'm telling you. Like, you create cravings. You create
like pregnant ladies.
Yes, like that.
It's the hormone
it's
imbalances.
It's weird things that you start liking that you're like, I don't even eat this normally. And the sweet thing I would say is probably it would have to be oatmeal, which I do not eat at all in the off season, or if I'm not dieting, I do not oatmeal. But on prep, I eat it because healthy, good cholesterol, good carbs, slow acting, all of that. So I implement it, and it creates a lot of volume. A cup of oatmeal. If you put 2 cups of water and you put it 5 minutes in the microwave, that's a hack. That's the hack that I tell everybody, because some people just put like a cup of water and they put it 2 minutes and it's like a little bit of oatmeal. If you put it 5 minutes in the microwave, you put it 2 cups of water, the thing will fluff up to like a huge bowl. And
really?
I didn't know that. And you will be eating there for a good 20 minutes, that cup of oatmeal, and it's very filling.
For me, it's also adding protein. Adding the scoop of protein just changes the flavor.
Yep.
And if you get like what we were talking about earlier,
what I would do was, because sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. I mean, that depends
Depending
on
on
your plan.
Exactly.
But I didn't have it, so what I would do is Walden Farms has a chocolate dressing, the syrup, the chocolate syrup. You get 2 tablespoons of those, and you get cinnamon, and you get Splenda, and it's arroz con leche of chocolate. It was another level. But again, I don't even eat that when I'm off season. So as I'm saying, it's just the cravings and the weird things. And then I would also have to do for my cravings, I would do amino slushies. I would make in the blender. I would make 2 amino scoops with a bunch of ice, almost no little water, and I'd be there just eating ice and aminos in front of the TV to like help my cravings and the hunger, because it was horrible. You can also do a cucumber with Splenda and cinnamon. That's also a sweet tooth hack. Works really good. Tastes, it's like 2 calories, so might as well do it, And what else? Oh, and then you can also use xanthan gum for your protein shake. Xanthan gum is an ingredient that is used for baking and gives consistency and thickness. So you put that in a shake, and you can either use almond milk or water, whatever your diet allows you to. But if you do that and you put, I'm talking about like maybe like a teaspoon, your protein shake will rise to the top of the blender, and it will be an ice cream. So you'll just be there with a spoon, just eating your protein shake, and a lot more filling. You'll be like this with your belly right after. And it's only like 10, 15 calories, and it's all fiber. So
that's crazy. I mean, that's what you get when you have those.
That's an event.
When you have to, yeah.
You will starve.
Because like you said, it's when you were competing, you had to find things that were going to make you sane within, 5, 10, even 20 calories. Now you te comes el arroz con leche.
Now it doesn't matter.
Once a week, not every day.
Right.
But let's talk about the positives and negatives that social media has had. And let's talk about it in this fitness side. I especially wanted to address, and I remember I had this question for you that we kind of spoke a little bit about, with steroids. Mm-hmm. And with how I feel like a lot of people, especially in the fitness world, are taking things and are trying to become this role model for kids or for the younger generation or just anybody in general that are trying to show these physiques that are really unattainable without supplementation. What are your opinions about that?
Well, since I first started working out, I've always looked down upon and I've always criticized the people who are not open about their steroid use. One, because like you said, it's giving false hopes to the younger people who are a little less educated and don't know about that side of the sport, or just are not aware of it. You know what I mean? So I feel that is something that now with social media, now with, I guess, more YouTube channels, more awareness, more hormone replacement clinics opening up, I feel it's a little more normal. It's a little more part of the sport. But I do definitely see super wrong in the people who claim to not take enhancements and try to make it seem like they're just genetically superior to someone, because you're not.
You're not.
You know what I mean? It's dumb. It's very egotistical to do that, and it's just giving a younger 15, 16-year-old like, yeah, I'm gonna get like that drinking protein, which back in the day, everyone was fooled. Everyone saw Ronnie Coleman or Jay Cutler with a BSN protein and was like, this is what I need to take because Jay Cutler takes it. Now I've noticed no one thinks like that anymore.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Even like 3 years ago, like the whole supplement world, here's my code, this and that, is not as big anymore.
At all. Since I worked at the supplement store, it was big in 2016. 2017 started dying out, and since then the whole supplement industry has gone down, and I feel that has been because people are being more aware of the actual hormones and enhancements that people are taking to get to that level. I 100%, I'm super like.
Do you think that there might be also a side that has to do with restrictions that are now being implemented? In my mind, the first thing that comes to my mind is pre-workout. Bro, the NO Explode that there used to be 5 years ago, or the 1MR that used to be back then, or just Jack 3D, you can't find that no more. That was cocaine that we were taking.
Literally.
Straight up. Let's be real.
They had amphetamines in it.
Yeah.
They had 1,3-dimethylamine, which is banned, and it's a molecule that looks literally identical It's an amphetamine. Well, it is an amphetamine. It's literally identical to Adderall. So
Mhm.
I'm telling you because I took Craze, which Craze had
I think I tried
amphetamine
that
in it.
one.
Craze was insane. Immediately pre-workout. I took Jack 3D. The DMAA doesn't give me the same drive, but the Craze, that was a pre-workout that I've never ever gotten that feeling. You would literally take it and you would get goosebumps.
Yeah.
The euphoric feeling you would get was on another level. Euphoria on another level. So it was something crazy. But definitely they don't have that. They don't have.
I wonder
any
if
of that
that, or maybe you might know because you were in the supplement world more then. Was that in other supplements? Have you seen that big change in maybe proteins, in creatine, in other sides more than just pre-workout?
Well, in the protein department, they've definitely bettered.
Okay.
In 2004, the GNC protein was literally all there was. The BSN, the Optim, all that, they tasted horrible.
Yeah.
Now the tastes have
Oh, bro.
improved.
Anything
Now,
that you can think of, it's there.
it feels like you're drinking an ice cream shake.
Yeah.
So definitely on that, kudos to the whole fitness industry and the supplement. 100%. They've literally killed it with the flavors. They're doing super good. What I do feel that people have realized is that these supplements are not the reason why these athletes look this way. The propaganda and the advertising isn't getting to the people as it was back then, because the knowledge now, there's knowledge.
Yeah,
Before,
100%.
when people are ignorant, you can tell them anything, they'll believe it. When people know, when people are informed, people have access to social media, to internet, everything has grown. So if you have access, you have social media, you have YouTube, you have people who are very knowledgeable, who are openly talking about these things, which before was a taboo.
100%.
Steroid use is a taboo a lot more in 2004, 2005, 2008. Now it's a lot more open. Now Bumpsit talks about how he cruises on TRT. He takes 250 of test. Now Seth Feroz talks about cycles and what he recommends. Now there's a lot of pros now and bodybuilders talking about what they take.
Which is beautiful that they're actually telling people,
like
hey,
that.
this is what I'm doing.
Right.
You want to look like me? This is what you got to do.
Mhm.
You don't want to? That's fine. It's your decision. I wanted to, as you were talking about that, one thing kept coming to my head. Actually, let's take a step back so we can get there. At what point did you start, or did you always think steroids were okay? Let's just think about that first. Like from a young age, from when you were 10 to when you started working out, was there a shift ever for you? From I don't like that to yeah.
There was a shift. It was when I lost my first show. When I
Okay.
lost my first show at 18, my second show, it was Southern States. I lost it. I remember I got fourth place. And
You were how old?
I was 18.
You were 18.
I had done the Sunshine Classic at March, and then I decided to compete again in July. I was like, oh, let me do another show. I liked it. I had one first place against that kid, who I think was probably natural, or maybe might have taken something in life, but didn't have a great physique. Wasn't lean. I was leaner than him, so that's why I won. But again, besides, I was only 140 pounds. So then I come here to the Southern States, a show that was back then. Now it's not. Back then, it was one of the biggest shows in whole South Florida. Again, you had people flying from Europe to compete in this show.
Yeah, it's big
The
time.
kid who won actually flew from Germany in the team division. The kid was like 6'2", 195. Huge. He was 19. Again, I was 18, but still, the kid was on another level. I was like, what the? And then there was another kid who was really big too. Another kid, and I was like, what? Like, these kids were on another league, and I was like, damn, these people are really good. And they're only like they're like my age, you know? So that kind of, I'm very competitive. A very competitive person. Like, if I do something and I do it balls to the walls and I lose, it hurts me. If I don't try, then I didn't try.
Fine.
But if I give it my all and I lose, it gets me. So it really got to me. Especially back then, I've learned through the years to take losses a little more. Back then, I couldn't take losses. Especially with basketball, I was super competitive. I would like cry every time I lose. It was bad. So I remember I actually cried that show too when I lost, because I was very mad that I knew these kids weren't natural. I knew that 100%. I was like, there's no way this kid's natural. This kid looks on another level. So actually that year, I got fourth place. I decided to do the same show the year after. And I remember from one show to the next, I gained 20 pounds. And the prep that I did from one show to the next, I remember I did a 28-day prep for that year, the following.
And the year before, it was how long?
11 weeks.
Oh,
And
wow.
I won the show. The year that I did a 28-day prep, I won the show. Obviously, I didn't go natural.
Yeah.
That was my first prep and my first cycle, which I had one of my friends on. Well, obviously taking stuff, and I had been coached by other people who helped me out. I didn't really know much what to take, when. I didn't know
100%.
anything.
It's
You
totally
know?
understandable. You're 18.
I was young, so when I did that, he helped me out, and 28 days my body was changing by the minute. Again, too, I didn't do a beginner cycle by no means, because I had 28 days. My friend was like,
How old were you then? This time? This was 19.
no, that was 19.
Okay.
No,
Because you said a year after. You competed the year before, so I'm guessing.
yes, that was 19.
Okay.
That was 19. Actually, I'm mistaken. I was 18. I hadn't turned 18.
Okay.
I was 18, about to turn 18. And he pretty much helped me, and my body was changing by the day. I should have done a basic first beginner cycle like most people do. You know,
That was
mean?
what I was gonna.
Your basic 1 compound or 2 compound. No, I went balls to the walls, like 6 compounds to compete type of thing. But again, that's why I made the crazy change, and the time constraint only allowed me to do that. And again, it wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I did it, and I won, and it was pretty much the start of a whole bodybuilding journey.
Your whole life, your whole career, moving forward to where you're at now. What I wanted to, my other point that I was saying was, there's obviously people who want to do it, who find it, and I would say specifically for the younger kids, maybe the 18-year-old, 20, 21-year-old, maybe they're not young, but they're younger than us. How would you tell them to kind of guide that? Where would you tell them to do their research? Obviously, because do their research. Don't just go buy anything. And let's not be ignorant and be like, no, don't go do it. Like, if you want to do it, it's your body, it's your decision. But at least be educated about it. Go learn from your experience and what you've been doing. What would you recommend to them?
I would definitely recommend, for one, to maximize their natural potential as much as they possibly can. Again,
It's not the cheat code. It's an extra.
right, exactly, and get your nutrition on point. A lot of people start cycles and they have no clue what to eat. So I'm like, if you have no clue of what to eat, you're gonna pretty much possibly mess up your health, because if you don't know how to eat, you possibly don't know what you're taking.
Mm-hmm.
Chances are.
Very valid.
So if you don't know how to eat, you probably mess up your health too. You're not gonna get the results you want. Probably gonna give anabolics a bad rep because you had a bad experience with them because you didn't know how to do it. Either eat or take it or nothing. So I suggest, first of all, get your diet on point, get your training on point, get info on what you want to do, what you want to run, what side effects it has, what you got to take to combat the side effects, as everything has a pros and cons, and
Yeah, life.
like every medicine, like every medication. So do that. If you don't know how to do that, or you don't want to, you're lazy, get yourself someone who's done it properly, who's not an extremist, who's not crazy, who will teach you how to do it the safest way possible. And secondly, get blood work, and don't be scared to go to the doctor and check, because you can feel great, but inside your blood work may be messed up. So the only way to really know what's really happening is blood work. And that's why I tell everybody, all my clients, after they're done with their prep, or they're done with their cycle, or they're just on HRT, whatever they're doing, get blood work. If your liver enzymes are high, you take out the pills. If your kidneys are bad, we have to stop. If your hematocrit or hemoglobin is high, don't eat blood. Like, there's things that are, there's solutions to every problem. And that's another point where I don't agree with many doctors. Many doctors will look down upon and shame you for using these substances, but then a smoker comes in the room and they don't tell them anything. An alcoholic comes in the room and that's fine. You know what I mean?
Very valid. That's very validly said.
Everybody has their I guess it's like, you know, like we talked about, like, choose your poison.
Mm-hmm.
And what a doctor's supposed to do is, if you're gonna do it, be as healthy as you can and try to live as long as you can and help you do it the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if a doctor can help you or prescribe you a blood pressure med because your blood pressure high, because maybe you're on testosterone, or because maybe you're eating, which all of that can be resolved through eating as well, without having to rely on meds. But if it's necessary, you know, sometimes they'll be like, oh, you gotta stop that or you're gonna die. Like, don't do that. You know, that's not the right way to do it, because that person's still gonna do it. They're gonna come to you, and then their health might get messed up.
Yeah.
Their kidneys might get messed up. So why are you going to pretty much kick someone out? And it's happened to me before, and that's why I say, you know, I've been to the doctor and my blood pressure, coincidentally, I was taking stimulants that day, and my blood pressure came out high, and the doctor was like, how old are you? You're
Yeah.
19.
That's
You're,
happened to me.
you're gonna die. What are you doing? What are you taking? Oh, you and I'm like, you're taking dialysis. I'm like the guy scared me. Like I didn't even want to work out anymore. So it's like, don't do that. Like help people out. Yeah, that's the whole point of a doctor.
Yeah, it's a very tough thing. I've had this conversation with a couple people. I remember, I think it was this past semester that in med school, they were kind of teaching us more of the role of a physician and like what your mentality should be and how to interact more with the patient. And you're supposed to be, at least what they try to teach you, is you're supposed to be their encyclopedia. So a patient comes into you, tells you, hey, this is what I have. This is my lab. This is my, my imaging, whatever. Your answer to them is, look, these are your options. Here are your options. You can pick what they are, and I'm going to help you guide. This is option A, what's good and bad. Option B, what's good and bad. Option C, what's good and bad. You pick it. I'm going to tell you what's the good ones, but at the end of the day, it's your life. It's your health. It's your decisions. My job is to be know-it-all, to be able to guide you. Hey, you're thinking about this one? Just make sure that if you pick that, these are your side effects, and this was what might happen. That's it. Because realistically, that's why a doctor goes to school for 15 years, is to try to know so much and not only know all these like random facts, but how they all intertwine. How does taking this is going to affect my liver? How does taking that going to affect my brain? How it all connects. And that is something that I find that, and with having my whole family in medicine, kind of seen it often, that they get lost in their world. And not just I'm not saying my family, but I see it often because of their friends and stuff. They get lost they're used to seeing the same patients over and over again. And every patient that comes in has hypertension and has this. So they get, like everything else, like any job, anything, they get stuck in that cycle. And sometimes they need to take a step back and teach a little bit more. Be like, hey, this is what's going on. Depending on the person, you can't expect to sit down and have this type of conversation with somebody who knows nothing about fitness, because they're going to be lost, but I totally get you. And it's so hard. It's so hard for especially for doctors too, I would say, because they're seeing so many patients.
That's a good point.
And it's like, at what point do you go from, hey, you have 5 minutes per patient, you have 2-3 minutes per patient, and you want to help as many people as possible, but sometimes you need to give a patient 10 minutes. And where things are going, it's kind of, you're not allowed to do that anymore because you need to go. So hopefully platforms like these and bringing in people, we can continue to put more education out there to be able to help people, because sometimes, you might not be able to just have the confidence, one, to tell you, hey, doc, this is what I need. A lot of people don't have that ability to do that.
Yeah. A lot of people are scared.
A lot of people are scared. I remember that, and you were talking a little bit about it earlier when you said how it was a competition, how when you lost your first competition, that's when you started changing it. I remember when we were at the gym the other day, you brought up a quote, and I know this is like the third time I've told you today. How for you it felt like you were playing baseball without a glove. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, no, I remember that. I told you about the whole anabolic use and stuff like that, and how it's an even playing field, because in the sport.
So before you go there, let me kind of recap them. Okay. So what happened was, we were at the gym and we were kind of talking about how he tried to convince me to compete. I'm still thinking about it, and I was like, man, there's two things that scare me. One is I'm so competitive that I know that I feel like I'm gonna end up getting on something. Okay. And then this is his response.
So I pretty much told him, since he told me that he was into baseball and made it far, and and like any sport, you don't play the sport on another field or on pretty much with a disadvantage. And I told him, I'm like, well, do you play baseball without a glove? Do you let everybody use the glove and then you try to be the hero and use it without a glove? You don't. Do you play basketball in sandals?
No,
don't. Yeah. Okay. Do you play golf with a bat? No. Every sport has its tools to make it far. Sadly, bodybuilding, medicine, and medications and supplements are the tool, because bodybuilding is a selfish sport where you are your equipment, your tool, you are the sport.
Yeah.
You're not really doing anything. You're not using the ball. It's just you and getting as big as best as you can. So it's just everything that revolves around the tools is pretty much for you. So
Yeah.
it's a whole different mindset from actual sports, the mainstream sports. And that's
Yeah.
why it's been very taboo. It's coming out more into the mainstream media, bodybuilding. I would say in the whole fitness like revolution that started, I would say started maybe 2010, 2012, around there. That's when it really like boom. I feel again, I didn't get into it until like 2015. But I feel like around 2012, 2013 is when really like, everybody started getting into the whole like, oh, I want to get lean, I want to get, also with again, all of that I feel was also revolutionized through YouTube, through social media. Before social media, the only guys who were into bodybuilding, the only guys who competed were bodybuilders. There was no classic physique, there was no men's physique, there was no women's bikini. It was women bodybuilding, men's bodybuilding. And who are the people who do that extreme size? The people who love the sport, not the people who want the fame, not the people who want the likes, not the people who want to be lean with a beach body to post and get likes. Those are not the people who do that. The people who do that are because they love it, who don't care about pictures, who go in the gym with a huge shirt, will do this for themselves because they want to be the best. And those are the guys that are, to this day, those are the guys who make it to the Olympia. The ones who try to stay, looking good and do it for the whole fame and the likes and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying that will not take you to that elite level, because those guys in the elite level back in the day didn't have any of that. And when all of this came out, that's when all of the new, everybody wants to compete, everybody wants to be in the fitness industry, everybody wants to be lean, everybody wants, it's just sometimes people do it for the wrong motivation. I just feel like sometimes doing it for the likes and stuff like that, getting on stage, I think you're getting more cons than pros at that point, because you're getting, like we talked about, the money issues. You're getting the whole mental, food obsession, body, hormone imbalance if you take stuff. All of the stuff that might come for side effects from competing. For what likes?
Yeah.
At least do it because you love it, because it's what you
enjoy
want to do, because you enjoy it. Don't do it because your best friend did her first bikini show and she placed and you think you want to do it too. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't be that girl. You know what I mean? That's why I'm just like, there's every type of people in the industry. So.
Yeah. But yeah, so Eddy, give these guys where can they find you if they need any training help, or what do you got?
Okay, if you guys want, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Eddy J Fitness. There, you can follow my page, or you can DM me any questions. I don't mind answering anybody, helping anybody. With any questions that you guys have, and don't be afraid to ask. I really don't. I'm not censored, and I'm not a fake natty. Like I would say, I'm against all that. So if you guys have any questions, whether it's supplements, whether it's anabolics, whether it's diet, whatever, I don't mind. You guys can ask. I'll charge for that. If you guys want an actual detailed plan, with weekly check-ins, with everything, you guys want to take it to the next level, or maybe you're plateaued, you can also let me know, and and we can work on that. But yeah.
Perfect. And I'll have all his stuff defending on the platform underneath, so you can go follow him. This guy knows his stuff. Good friend of mine. Known each other for a little while. And hey, good to have you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Bye, guys.
Take care.